been an outspoken voice in the Republican Party on some of these big foreign policy issues. Congressman, welcome.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the spying. I mean, there's a view in some quarters. It's interesting. It's bringing together kind of the liberal left and the libertarian right that believe that U.S. spying is out of control. Is it undercutting America's reliance on allies for cooperation on anything from economic reform to chasing terrorists? Does it have to be reined in?
No, first of all, David, I think the president should stop apologizing, stop being defensive. The reality is the NSA has saved thousands of lives, not just in the United States, but also in France and Germany and throughout Europe. And, the French are some ones to talk. I mean, the fact is they've carried out spying operations against the United States, both the government and industry. As far as Germany, that's where the Hamburg plot began, which led to 9/11. They've had dealings with Iran and Iraq, North Korea, the French and the Germans and the European countries. And we're not doing this for the fun of it. This is to gather valuable intelligence, which helps not just us, but also helps the Europeans.
But it's deep. Yeah. I mean, we were apparently bugging Angela Merkel's phone from the time that she was an opposition leader in Germany back in 2002. Again, I understand why this is done. I cover these issues, but I think a lot who are watching this right now are thinking, what is it we're doing? You mentioned the Hamburg plot. I mean, we share intelligence with Germany. They're allies in this fight, not someone to be looked at so skeptically.
Well, first of all, we do share intelligence, and we've saved many lives in Germany because of the intelligence we've given them. And we're not doing this to hurt Germany, but the fact is there can be information that's being transmitted that can be useful to us and then ultimately useful to Germany. So I think that, again, this is out there. Snowden put it out there, and it bothers the hell out of me. The people in my own party, such as Rand Paul, Justin Amash, people on the left, also coming together, and somehow they try to exalt Snowden. This guy is causing tremendous damage to the country, and again, we shouldn't be on defense. And I think the president, quite frankly, the NSA has done so much for our country and so much to help this president in his term. He should be out there. He's the commander-in-chief. He should stand with NSA. He should go out and visit Fort Meade and be there with General Alexander and the troops there.
Why don't we have a bigger debate then in Congress? I mean, we really haven't had a debate in Congress since 2001 to say, what's appropriate use of executive power? What's appropriate, spying that goes on? Drones came up big this week and the collateral damage from drones. What are the powers that a president should have to fight terrorism? It seems like Congress doesn't really want to have that debate because they're afraid to do it because they don't want to look weak. Finally, some are saying, let's push the debate out into the open.
Well, I'm not afraid of anything, but again, if we go too much in the open, then we let the enemy know what's going on, and we create problems. The idea is you have to have a strong defense. We have to have strong spying, if you want to call it, strong surveillance. And as far as the use of drones, the fact is, every war, there is collateral damage. Unfortunately, innocent people are killed. But the efforts that the U.S. takes to protect innocent lives, I say, is unprecedented. If you want to go back to Dresden and Hamburg and what happened in World War II, where thousands and thousands of civilians were killed, the fact is, this has kept Americans alive. It's also helped people in the Middle East. So I think we should stop being apologetic for drones. Tell Rand Paul to stop doing overnight filibusters on people being killed with drones at Starbucks. We should be standing by our military, standing by the intelligence agencies. And I said the president should go out to Fort Meade. If he can find the time to go to Junior's Cheesecake with Bill de Blasio, he can find time to go to Fort Meade and stand with General Alexander. We have to stop being so defensive.
I want to touch on something else in Andrea's piece quickly, which is, what would you say to reassure the Saudis and other Sunni Muslim regimes who believe that the U.S., by not doing enough on Syria, by opening up talks with Iran, are essentially turning their back on traditional alliances and empowering Iran? And again, it's important to point out the Sunni-Shiite split within the Islamic world is huge right now, and that's why the Saudis are so concerned.
Well, words and consequences of actions. When the president has apologied during 2009, the way he was treating Israel in 2009 and 2010, and now is a terrible policy on Syria where he vacillated back and forth. He led the allies in one direction, went in another. I'm not an apologist for the Saudis, but I understand why they are very distrustful of the president right now. I can understand why Israel is very distrustful. Again, I think he's got to be firm. He's got to be consistent. What he did in Syria was indefensible. unacceptable because it sends so many mixed signals and caused people to lose faith in our country, which should be the wrong thing, because we are still a pillar of strength in the country. But the president, again, is too apologetic, and by someone's going overboard toward Iran and sort of dismissing Israel, just sort of leaving the Saudis out there, and again being so inconsistent. I think we're going to look back on Syria. The mixed signals he sent on Syria over that 2, 3, 4 week period is going to have lasting damage.
All right. They would argue, the president would and others, if in the end the Syrian regime is defanged of its chemical weapons, if there's success in the end without using military force, that should be deemed as a success. That debate will continue, but I'm out of time for now. Congressman, good to have you as always.
We'll do that again. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Coming up next.